Welcome back to my channel. This is Spring Porter with Spring Solutions LLC. In this video, I'm going to be talking about the differences between state funds and bankruptcy unclaimed funds, similarities, differences, why I work bankruptcy unclaimed funds primarily. I am in the process of learning tax overages and mortgage overages with Nick Fulmer. I enrolled in his course. I'm about halfway through it. So far, so good. I do like his teaching method. I think the more things that you add to overages, the more you add to your portfolio, the greater your chances are having greater income. So if you're doing state funds, bankruptcy, and tax overages, obviously you're going to have more of a pool to pull from in terms of what deals that you can get. So that's why I'm going to be adding tax overages to my portfolio. I'm not going to be teaching that part, but I am going to be adding that. So if you're interested in learning what I think the differences between state funds and bankruptcy unclaimed funds, please stay tuned. Please note that this is based on my experiences. I am not an attorney, and this information is not indicated as legal advice. Hi everyone, so this video is going to be about the similarities and the differences between state funds and bankruptcy unclaimed funds. I get that question a lot. Why do I do bankruptcy unclaimed funds? Why do I not do state funds? I am currently enrolled in a program, overages syndicated, to do tax overages so I can learn that process. State funds, I don't really care to learn how to do. I have recovered money on my own. I had some money that was left over from a utility bill or deposit or something when I used to live in Georgia. And I kind of stumbled on that site a few years ago, and it was really easy for me to just do that on my own because it was online. And so I figured if the information is online and it's something that people can process, it's just easier for them to just do it on their own, to be honest. And I don't like always not knowing where the funds are, and that's why I don't like to work state funds. And you don't always get paid directly, so I don't like that. But anyway, the similarities between the two, the researching part is the same. You having to make your own list, whether that come in a CD-ROM or a ledger or a database. You have to create your own list that you want to work. You have to do your skip tracing. You have to reach out by phone call or mailing. All of that part is still the same. You get paid at the end. That part is similar whether you're doing state funds or bankruptcy unclaimed funds. You have to wait for the officials to process it, and then the money comes at the very end. You have to provide documentation that's similar. It may look slightly different, but we'll get to that in the differences column. You have to have an ID. Someone would have to probably provide their social security number or maybe a W-9 to verify that it is you. When I did my own state funds in Georgia, I had to write down my social security number with the Treasury Department with their website, and that is basically how that worked. It was really simple. And I think I had to submit like a utility bill or something about where I lived at that moment. Another thing, state funds and bankruptcy unclaimed funds, it's all about a volume case model. So you're going to be doing a lot of cases to ensure that the money is there. So it's not like a tax overages or mortgage overages where the payouts are slightly larger. You may only have to do 3 a year or 4 a year, and you could get, a lot more money. State funds and bankruptcy, you're sort of doing a few of them all the time to ensure that the money comes in. So some of the differences between state funds and bankruptcy unclaimed funds is the payout time frame is always going to be different. That varies in each district. It varies in each state, depending on the Treasury Department, which state. Some work faster than others. Who cuts the check is different. When you're dealing with state funds, it usually comes from the state Treasury Department or maybe the county. With bankruptcy unclaimed funds, the funds always come from the U.S. Treasury Department. In bankruptcy, you get the funds directly. That's the process that I show you. So the funds go directly to you, and you're tasked with submitting the funds to the client or submitting their portion to the client. With state funds, I think they pretty much get the funds directly. There may be a few states where you get the funds first, but overall, from what I have heard, the funds always go directly to the client, which could be problematic when you're trying to figure out how you're going to get paid and because the check or payment says in care of. Another thing with bankruptcy unclaimed funds, there is a process to getting an electronic fund transfer so the funds go directly to your business bank account, which is nice. Another thing is the documentation is different. With state funds, again, it's electronically. You can do that online. With bankruptcy unclaimed funds, you're submitting the documents in paper to the court because they need original signatures. There are very few where you can do an electronic filing of the documents. But I think with state funds, for the most part, what I have checked and seen, and even doing my own, I just did it online electronically, and it was really simple. I would not have paid a third party to do it for a state fund, to be honest. I wouldn't. With bankruptcy, it's different because you're dealing with a motion, you're dealing with a court case, you need a court order, and that is slightly different. And again, you have to submit originals, you need a certificate of service. There's other things attached to that that make it a little bit trickier and harder for individuals to do it on their own. Another thing with bankruptcy, you need an attorney sometimes. Sometimes there may be a hearing attached to it, not always, but just in some districts that is the case. Overall, state funds are probably easier to get because the process to filing the information is a lot easier. That's what I mean. It may not be easier to convince them always, but the process to actually submitting the documents is easier. With bankruptcy, it's slightly harder, and I think that makes it more attractive when you're dealing with bankruptcy unclaimed funds because the clients can't do it on their own. Another thing, finder fees are different. With the bankruptcy code, doesn't mention finder fees at all, so it's basically what you and the client agree to. And I think that is it. I hope that this video was helpful. Please continue to like, share, and subscribe to this channel if you have not done so already. I am going to be posting a link to the video pertaining to finder fees for bankruptcy, just to kind of clarify that tidbit at the end. If you're interested, please take a look at that. And I'll see you in the next video. Thank you for watching.